world. Venezuela let out so many people. You know, their crime rate is down 78%. I can't believe they haven't allowed every single, some of these countries allowed every single prisoner, and they put them on buses and they bus them in, or they put them on planes, because these are countries also from Africa, from Asia, not just South America, a lot from South America, but not even the most. I mean, we have them coming from all over the world, and we're letting them in. They let them in from the Congo. For whatever reason, the Congo is prime territory to come into our southern border. They get them up to the border and they let them in with the stupid open borders policy. So this would have never happened if the election were proper. In other words, if the election weren't rigged, which it was, and it would have never happened. But I will say this, it's much bigger. Historically, this is much bigger. It showed what this ideology that some people are facing throughout the world, that showed how bad this ideology is, how incompetent the people are, but how bad the ideology is, the ultra-left stupid policy. And I don't think they can get elected for a long time. They're still, you know, they just suffered a big election defeat. They're very depressed. And they're using the same things. We just signed a bill yesterday. It was so incredible that no more men playing in women's sports, right? And stand up, big boy, stand up. How about this guy? Okay. Now I'm using him as, he was a great player. He played in the Jets for, 10 years? Ohio said, is he going to play in sports with his wife? Wouldn't that be lovely? She's the size of his leg, maybe somewhat smaller. The whole thing was ridiculous. You saw I was reading off some of the stats yesterday in the room, and I said there was a long-distance race. They had the best female racers and the best male racers, long-distance running race. And the man won by 5 hours and 24 minutes. I mean, that's not... The greatest, though, are the weightlifting records, where they break the record, a record that stood for 18 years, and they'd go and they'd put a quarter of an ounce here, a quarter of an ounce, and they go, and they couldn't quite get it up, and this guy came in, and he was a poor man weightlifter, not a good one. He was at the lower realm of weightlifting. He goes up, boom, and he ends up like 127 pounds more. It was one of the worst. I don't know, maybe that's why he decided to transition, as the expression goes. I've gotten very good at that. I have to, because if I make a mistake, these guys are going to get me in big trouble. We're perfect. Susie will get very upset with me if I make a mistake. And by the way, Susie deserves a great round of applause. The Ice Maiden. We call her the Ice Maiden. You know, she's the daughter of Pat Summerall, who was a smart guy, and he was a very good football player, but a great announcer for 27 years for the NFL, and worked with John Madden. And John was a difficult guy, but he had, he just, come on, John, you got to like these executives. He'd talk a little rough to the executives at CBS. They weren't in love with him, actually, but come on, John. John, you got to be nice to him. John paying you a lot of money. And he did this for 27 years. He was the only one that could deal with John Madden. He dealt with him very easily, right? Isn't that true? So he was great. But Susie's like that. I mean, she's amazing. She's respected by everybody. Democrats, too, by the way. A lot of Democrats. In fact, that bothers me a little bit, John. But the Democrats respect her and they like her. But we all like her. But we call her the Ice Maiden, because she's very nice until she decides not to be. Then she's brutal. She can be brutal. But, we ran a perfect campaign. We did that final 3 months, 90 days. I didn't sleep. We did speeches every day. We did rallies. We did 3 or 4 rallies a day, and sometimes the last 3 days we did more rallies than anybody could believe. And they were packed we went up to Milwaukee. We had 28,000 people in that beautiful new basketball arena. We'd use the basketball arenas, but they were way too small. We went to Madison Square Garden. We could have sold it out 10 times. The people went all the way back to Fifth Avenue and all the way down to the river, which is 5 blocks down. And I don't mean a line. I mean just massive crowds. The owner of the garden, Jim, He told me he's never had it. He's never seen anything like that. Or with all the big sporting events and championships and everything else, they never had anything like it. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been an amazing run. We did a good job for you, and you did a good job for me. And we have some incredible, talented new people in the party. And we're going to work with you. We've raised a lot of money that we're going to be using on midterms, and we've raised a lot of money. I did something that I don't think anyone's ever done before. I said, listen, we just won. And see, the good thing about not having done this so long, John, is that I come up with ideas that nobody else has thought of. Usually when you win, you let your people rest, your donors rest. And you let them rest for 2 or 3 years, and then you're going to run again. If it's a congressional race, you let them rest for at least a year, year and a half. So we won, and everybody was euphoric. Everybody, they were so happy. And I called up Meredith. Where's Meredith? I said, Meredith, where are you, Meredith? She's incredible. Thank you. And I called up Meredith. I said, Meredith, this is the morning after the win. So everyone is so, I said, call the donors and ask if they'd like to make a major contribution. Sir, the election, it's just like 8 hours old. I said, that's all right. And we raised over $500 million very quickly, right? $500 million. And the people were so happy. They were happy to do it. We could have waited 2 years, but, the press will beat us up for 2 years. And, no, maybe they wouldn't have been as happy. But I think they're going to be happy because because we become the party of common sense. And when you have common sense and when you are the party of common sense, we're going to do well for a long time. We're not going to do badly in midterm. A lot of people say, that you always will do badly in midterm. I don't think there's any reason for that. These people were fighting when I did the thing with the men playing in women's sports. I watched today Democrats fighting me on this. They don't learn, and I hope they don't learn because, they're still with the open borders. We want open borders. Open borders are never going to sell. Men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, it's never going to sell. And they haven't changed. They haven't learned. And frankly, I hope they don't play this because I hope they don't learn because we have to beat them, and we're going to beat them. And I just want to thank everybody in the room. Everybody in this room has been special. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so you were just listening there to President Trump in the ballroom there at Mar-A-Lago. He's welcoming the Senate Republican Conference. And it was somewhat of a lengthy speech, had hallmarks of some of his campaign rallies. Talking about a number of things here, but I'm Andrew Kraft. We're going to step away from that. Thanks so much for being with us here.
Appreciate that. I'm going off here and the sound's muted. Listen, they were freaking out in front of the DOE. I loved it. I absolutely I sat here and laughed my ass off when I saw that video. I was dying laughing. We received an invite to we filled out the application. It was sent to us from the Trump administration to get into the White House press corps. So look forward to that. That's going to be interesting. You're going to see podcasters in the White House press room. And we happen to have some leverage. I wouldn't say we're ish, but we do have some leverage with the administration. They have been very kind to us throughout this entire campaign and let us share the stage with them. They They've had us to the rallies. We've been VIP. We watched the inauguration from a suite. Steve and Maurice couldn't come with me. I invited them to come, but they wanted to save their time off to go to CPAC. So that's coming up very shortly in like 12 days. 12 days. We get to broadcast live from CPAC from 7 in the morning to 11 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So look forward to that. We're going to have all kinds of folks that are going to be there. We were able to get Tim Burchett. I think it's going to be there now. John Kennedy. There's just going to be a lot of people, and you're going to see a lot of people coming through the Radio Row booth and talking to us. And we're extremely excited about that. We started that little that Give Send Go so that we could get, this has been extremely taxing on all of us, all this traveling. Tahoe, Atlanta, Florida, DC, you name it. We've traveled, we've done this, and we have regular lives and regular jobs, and we do regular people stuff. And it's hard to see this grow because you get to a middle point of growing this network the way that we have. And it's like, it's bigger than you can handle at times. And still there's like a lack of resources, but things are starting to change. We have beefed up. We're adding more hosts. We got some more sponsors and some America First sponsors that are actually really on their stuff. So guys, go check out shopwithamerica.us because I'm telling you, look, everyone in here, I guarantee you, everyone that follows Steve, follows Maurice, follows me, follows Nate Kane, follows anyone on the entire network, Damon Galdo, you name it, all of us, every single one of us. If you follow us, you're America First. That's what we preach. That's what we believe. That's what we bleed is America First. So if you are America First, real simple, go to shopwithamerica.us and buy American. Buy U.S. sourced goods made by people in the United States. So you're not getting all the BS that they're trying to feed us at Walmart, at Amazon, you name it, the big box stores. The top 1% of the market gets 62% market share, while the mom and pops are frozen out, and the people that actually make these products in our own country are not making the money that they should. You want to get competitive prices or save money, really save money, go check them out. I promise you, you will not be mistaken. If you go in there and you go, who referred us, you get that drop down list, you'll see Page Repair Network there. That helps benefit us, helps us grow. But back to this speech, he said a lot of things that were very, very crucial in this speech as we were listening. And so I'm not looking forward to any time where the Trump administration slows down or stops doing these things that are absolutely driving the Democrats batshit crazy. Because they're losing their minds right now. If you saw that chart Steve and I did on the podcast the other day, they were showing where the money started at the NGOs from USAID. And this pyramid of all these billions of dollars in receipts, when you add them up, all lead to the Clinton Foundation. Every one of them lead to Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea right into their pockets. And to know that your tax dollars went to fund the impeachment of Donald Trump, the very first impeachment, that's where the 4 whistleblower statements came from. So that's where your tax money went. That's what they did with it. They went after the president using USAID. No wonder Donald Trump's got a hard on for USAID. I would too. Knowing tax dollars went to fund the downfall of the United States. And then they act like the Department of Education is essential. It's not essential. It was only created in the Carter era. Come on, people. We know better. But they're going to claim all that weird nonsense about ADA stuff. And without that, what are our disabled children going to do? Well, you're going to get $87 billion sent back to your state. And whatever you do with it, you can hold your local mayor, your school board, your city council, whoever else, you can hold them accountable. That's the way it's supposed to be. What's going on here is that the Democrats bust and flew in for 2 reasons. One, money, Democrat politics. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Without going through the entire thing. And here, I'll put it up on the screen. Here. He's 100% right. It was a campaign moment. It was a campaign moment. And hey, thank you, Diddy Girl, for bringing up the fact that I have my damn mic muted. I'm sitting here going off, and I didn't even know you couldn't even hear me. But not just, and who's this here? Coach It's not just them that led to the Biden family members as well. Yes. All of these NGOs are profiting somehow or another, and it's heading back into the coffers of politicians. The politicians are feeding off of your tax dollars for all of their little pet projects, and this 501c3 is paying this 501c3, is paying this one and this one and this one, and next thing you know, it ends up in the pockets of a politician. Watch what happens when we start really investigating where the Ukraine money's going. Look, I'm just guessing. I can't say I know for sure. I'm just guessing, but I'm guessing that somebody's getting very rich. And they're getting rich off the backs of you, and they're getting rich off the backs of me. I pay a lot of taxes, folks, and I'm sure you do too. A lot of taxes. And the idea that our tax dollars, our federal income tax, might go away because of tariffs that we charge to other countries. Please, do you know what would happen to the U.S. economy if we stopped having to pay a federal income tax and charged it to the people that want to sell goods in our country? Our economy would explode. It would absolutely go bananas. I would have a new boat out front right now. So, do it. Please do it. I have put out that meme the other day. We put out a shirt, and was a little Donald Trump in a like a Yellowstone kind of a setting with a cowboy hat on. It said, "There's a new tariff in town." Absolutely, there's a new tariff in town. I love the idea that you and I will not have to pay federal income tax. The Constitution doesn't support it anyway, and the 16th Amendment was never properly ratified because it takes a 2/3 vote of the legislation of the entire country in order to ratify our Constitution, and they didn't have that. So no, I am completely 100% in agreement with getting rid of the federal income tax system and continuing not to pay these unelected bureaucracies for sitting at home and doing nothing and then getting upset that we're taking their federal jobs. Well, we don't need a department of this and a department of that and so forth. What are you saying here? Here, I mean, I got these big old 60-inch monitors. Let me use one. It's all started a scandal. I guarantee it's going to even more bank accounts of the Congress too. I asked Schumer on one of his posts if he's scared it will implicate him by leading to his bank account. Yes. And you don't even have to look too hard. Look, when you're talking about Schumer, remember the housing crisis that occurred 2008. Remember how the housing crisis happened? Well, there were 4 people involved in the housing crisis: Chuck Schumer, Chris Dodd, Barney Frank, and Obama. Obama was the second largest recipient of funds from the housing crisis, from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Right? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, believe it or not, are not supposed to exist either because the government is not supposed to be in the business of doing business. So giving you loans for an interest rate is not a business the government's supposed to be in. It's just not supposed to happen. They're not supposed to make money off of you and me. So why are we spending tax dollars to create an institution that lends out our money to us for a profit for them? It just boggles your mind that people don't understand the concept of how far away from our original republic we have come, to the point where they've used the term democracy so much that that's what people believe we are, is a damn democracy. We're not a democracy. We are 100% a constitutional republic. We are a constitutional republic. And when people really learn that we are a constitutional republic and what that means and what the Constitution says and what the amendments actually say, and we have a better educated populace, this kind of stuff will not happen. It won't happen. But it takes educating. I fully believe, and obviously we're very much against those on the left, but I have to believe that if at least a percentage, I don't know how high of a percentage, but a percentage of those on the left, that they knew that the things they believed were absolute bullshit, and they knew the truth of it, I would have to believe that a lot of them would leave their political parties and come over to the party of common sense. They would have to. At what point do you wake up and realize, oh shit, I've been red-pilled? It's happened to numerous people. I talked a few weeks ago to Lisa Watson. Go back and watch that podcast. It's an amazing podcast. And Lisa Watson used to be on the board of Planned Parenthood. She used to be on the board of our local chapter of the ACLU. Matter of fact, she was the president and of the ACLU in her state. So one day she just starts to ask questions and she goes down this rabbit hole and has this aha moment. And now she's advocating against the ACLU's agenda and against Planned Parenthood's agenda because she woke up. So it's this kind of stuff that wakes people up. It's these types of podcasts, this type of education that tells people, hey, here are the receipts. We're not just saying this shit, but here is the actual receipts. Here's why I'm saying it. Here's what I'm saying. This is true beyond any shadow of a doubt. There's no argument to be had here. And that's why if you're really a leftist and you really think socialism works, please look at the historical data and wake up and see that it doesn't. Socialism, whenever it is implemented, has caused the death of millions and millions of people. Millions and millions of people. So Coach says, why do we have government departments of unelected people making laws for us that we did not even authorize to create? Completely against the Constitution. And I agree with you. The sad part is we had to create an unelected bureaucracy to remove unelected bureaucracies. And I'm talking about Doge. I think it's an amazing idea. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we need all the departments of, with the exception of very few, maybe the Department of Defense can still be around. I don't see a need for the DOE, the Department of Energy, the Department of Education, these types of things, right? I don't see the need for it because what ends up happening is millions of dollars go to them and you don't know what it's actually going to, what you're actually funding, what they're actually selling, what they're actually saying. $600 screwdrivers going to some program or another. Very well, it's not $600 for a screwdriver. They're using that money for some SAP. So SAP is a secret program, and some of them are above congressional overreach. So here we have programs that are in our government that are beyond the overreach of the people we elected to make sure that the people's interests are looked out for. This cannot happen. It has to stop. It has to stop. And if we don't have something like a Doge or something like that, we are all in trouble. We are all in trouble. And here's the thing. When the president gets elected, he gets to choose 3,000 people that he appoints. There are over 3 million people that work for the federal government. That means almost 1% of our population works for the federal government. And that is absolutely mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And Coach says at this point, the only federal, Doge. I mean, like you got to, I don't see a world. I mean, in a perfect world, you would use Doge for a time and it would go away. That's the perfect world scenario. It does its job and then it goes away. The problem with it is who takes it over next? That's what scares me. What happens when you get somebody that's in there underneath of Maxine Waters or a Biden-like or Harris-like character? That's the only scary part for me. Because if people can just create unelected bureaucracies out of thin air, it's a slippery slope. But in this case, with Doge, what they're doing is 100% called for, and the proof is there. The proof is in the pudding, and there's plenty of pudding right now. So look at the Department of Education, look at USAID, look at the things that it's cutting out, and look what watch the Democrats losing their damn minds, and then find out why, and you'll see the Coach is 100% right, because that's what they're doing. They're using the unelected bureaucracies to line their pockets, put money in their bank account. And it doesn't happen straight out of the coffers of USAID or the Department of Education. It happens through several transfers of money. It goes into one company and then to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next thing you know, you're paying somebody that was never supposed to be intended for, but they knew it was going to happen the whole time. They knew it was going to happen the whole time. So look, stay educated, stay up on what's happening, pedal to the metal. Don't want Donald Trump to slow down one bit. Don't want Doge to slow down one bit. Keep pushing. It is not the time to pump the brakes at all. We want to see more of this, but at the end of the day, what we really want to see is people held accountable for what they've done. And the day that I see Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, any one of them in handcuffs being perp walked, I will laugh my ass off, because that is what is deserved. What I feel they did is they have staged a coup against the sitting president. Adam Schiff played a very big role in that. And I just don't think that should go unpunished. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he had no evidence. He knew Crossfire Hurricane was a setup job from the very get. And he continues, and even to this day continues to say there is a Russian connection between Donald Trump and the Russians. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever to me. But guys, look, as I say at the end of every podcast, and I mean it with all my heart, please, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent and hold your ground, man. Just hold your ground. Evil will never retreat willingly. It must be beaten back. So guys, if you haven't already, go check us out over at thepatriotsprayer.com. If you haven't followed me at The Patriots Pray, please do. All of the hosts, everybody streams there. So everybody you already follow, Steve, Maurice, Nate, Damon, Alexandra, all of us, we're all streaming there as well. Check out our YouTube channel. We're trying to gain ground on YouTube, and it's extremely hard to do that. It's extremely hard to do that because they don't like it when we tell the truth. The only way we can beat the algorithm is very simple. You have to go like, comment, subscribe to the channel in order to make it gain some traction. And the same thing, we love Twitter, and we love the fact that it's a First Amendment platform. But we do get a lot more bang for our buck for our video monetization and that on our Rumble channel. So if you have not subscribed to our Rumble channel, please do. It's rumble.com/the Patriots Prayer, or the Patriots Prayer. I almost forgot the damn name of my Rumble channel. So it's rumble.com/the Patriots Prayer. Go over there and follow us on Rumble today. If you don't have a Rumble account, get one. Get one. It is well worth getting one, because it's one of the few places where we know we're never going to have a problem. We're going to come on and be able to tell you the truth every time, and nobody is going to censor us or tell us what to say. Guys, have a great day, and I look forward to the rest of this revolution, and the truth is finally being told, and what's good for the people of this country is finally being done, and I can't wait to see more, and I know you can't either. Have a great night and a great weekend. We'll see you very, very soon.